We euthanized him. We didn't kill him.
Well, euthanasia is not legal.
Well, it is because hospice does it all the time. They give you the lethal dose of morphine. I've seen it. I've done it myself.
But did you really think it was upon yourself to decide whether he should be euthanized? Did he ask for euthanasia and you said no?
We made the decision.
La familia Anthony Tomaselli vivió durante años creyendo que su amado padre y el abuelo habían muerto por causas naturales, pero desafortunadamente sus hijas compartían un oscuro secreto. También compartieron un amante, un hombre que eventualmente volaría la tapa del secreto que habían jurado llevar a sus tumbas. Como si eso ya no fuera lo suficientemente extraño, a medida que los investigadores profundizaron en la naturaleza del crimen en sí, los motivos de las personas involucradas solo se volverían más extrañas y desconcertantes.
And that wasn't working because he was very strong and he was pushing it off. And so she said, okay, the next thing we'll have to do is we have to get a washcloth, put it in his mouth, and Willis is going to have to hold his nose, and
Hold his arms.
we had to finish what we had started.
Esta historia nos lleva al estado de Florida, el pequeño pueblo costero de Palm Harbour. Fue allí donde un barbero italiano llamado Anthony Joseph Tomaselli se mudó con su esposa y sus 3 hijos en la década de 1960. Con grandes esperanzas de una nueva vida bajo el sol de Florida en las próximas décadas. Como muchos peluqueros de pueblos pequeños, Anthony se convertiría en una figura muy conocida en la comunidad local. La gente lo describió como sociable, trabajador, generoso y afectuoso hombre que haría cualquier cosa por su familia y compartiría cada centavo del dinero que ganaba con sus hijos Charles, Mary, Beth y Linda. La muerte de su madre a fines de la década de 1990 fue un golpe devastador para Anthony. Eventualmente volvió a establecerse esta vez con una mujer llamada Shirley Shannon, con quien había pasado casi 2 décadas, hasta que ella falleciera en febrero de 2015, y es entonces que se dieron lugar los acontecimientos perturbadores de esta familia. En los días posteriores a la muerte de Shirley, de 85 años, su nieta, Lauren Johnson, de 41 años, se mudó a la habitación de huéspedes de su abuelo para ayudarlo con las tareas del hogar y hacerle compañía. Pero sus hijas estaban preocupadas. Sin Shirley, ¿quién iba a cuidar de su padre enfermo? Él no estaba en condiciones de vivir solo, su salud era mala y se negaba a mudarse a un centro asistido. 3 semanas después de la muerte de Shirley, sus hijas tomaron una decisión difícil. Era un pensamiento al que le habían estado dando vueltas durante días. Necesitaban sacrificar a Anthony. Sería su último acto de bondad el 13 de febrero de 2019. Pero en algún momento la culpa remordió la conciencia de Linda, al punto que tuvo que confesárselo a alguien, sin imaginar que estaría condenándose a sí misma al ser grabada toda su conversación.
So anyway, he went to sleep.
Okay.
We thought he was
Dead?
dead.
And? He
He
wasn't.
opened his eyes
He opened his
and he
eyes.
looked at us.
He looked at you.
And I said, now what do we do?
You asked her now what to do?
I said, what do we do now?
So then
I
what?
don't know if I can even tell the rest of it.
You put a pillow over his face.
Yeah, we did, not a pillow, but we did. And his breathing, yes.
By pinching his nose? Did you pinch your father's nose? How did you do it?
Can't talk anymore.
What do you mean you can't talk? You already told me. This is the only way to get it off your chest. You've never told anybody. You might as well finish, so I know, and you know, that the truth has been told.
Shock and sadness as people in one community learned their neighbor did not die of old age, but reportedly killed by his own daughters. BBC Action News reporter Michael Paluska with why some of them are always suspicious, even when deputies were not.
The sheriff told us what happened inside this home was the perfect murder, and he told us that those sisters would have gotten away with killing their father if they just would have stayed quiet.
La causa de la muerte de Anthony Tomaselli había sido dictaminada como resultado de causas naturales, debido a la edad avanzada y un extenso historial médico. En casa en Palm Harbour, su automóvil y sus otros bienes fueron vendidos y el dinero dividido entre sus 3 hijos. En 2017, Mary, Beth y Linda se mudaron a un condominio juntas, y luego entró Anthony Marshall en sus vidas, un hombre que cambiaría todo para siempre. Marshall era guitarrista en una banda de covers que actuaba regularmente en el área de la bahía de Tampa. A fines de 2018 comenzó a chatear en Facebook con Beth Tomaselli, de 63 años. Después de conocerse en uno de sus conciertos, los dos habían comenzado a salir en su tercera cita, pero 2 semanas después su relación había terminado, pues Beth había descubierto que Marshall ahora se acostaba con su hermana Linda, con quien continuaría su aventura durante los siguientes 4 meses, hasta que decidió terminar con ella. Pero Linda tenía problemas mentales y lo estuvo acosando incapaz de aceptar la ruptura, hasta que el 13 de febrero le pidió que se reuniera con ella. Quería explicarle la causa de su extraño comportamiento. Tenía un secreto que la había estado persiguiendo durante años y le había dado pesadillas a menudo, con su padre fallecido parado al pie de su cama. Marshall se preparó para una historia de trauma infantil. Ciertamente no estaba listo para escuchar lo que vendría a continuación.
You killed your father 4 years ago.
You have to say it like that?
Well, but
and
that's...
don't just say it to me, because it was my sister too.
And Mary Beth.
We euthanized him. We didn't kill him.
Well, euthanasia is not legal.
Well, it is, because hospice does it all the time. They give you the lethal dose of morphine. I've seen it. I've done it myself.
But did you really think it was upon yourself to decide whether he should be euthanized? The very first thing I asked you when this conversation started is like, you euthanized your father. You said yes. And I said, did he ask for euthanasia? And you said, no.
We made the decision. Okay?
Right, you and Mary Beth made the decision.
Según Linda, su padre tenía demencia severa y cáncer de pulmón terminal. Le quedaban semanas o incluso días de vida. Linda había pasado su vida laboral viendo a la gente morir de cáncer. No podía soportar ver a su padre sufrir así. Beth mezcló una dosis letal de pastillas para dormir en su bebida habitual de vodka con Coca-Cola. Debería haber sido suficiente para darle una sobredosis, pero Beth había agregado demasiado refresco. Anthony solo se había tomado 5 o 6 tragos. 20 minutos después estaba temblando aturdido. Dejó caer las tarjetas de oración que leía todas las noches en el suelo, pero todavía estaba muy vivo, por lo que las hermanas terminaron asfixiándolo. A la mañana siguiente montaron la escena para que pareciera que acababan de descubrir su cuerpo sin vida. Linda le hizo compresiones torácicas durante media hora frente a Lauren, hasta que llegaron los paramédicos y lo declararon muerto.
You don't know my sister. My sister has a temper 10 times worse than I do.
But why did she have a temper? Why was this ending his life anything to do with the temper? She was mad at him?
Yes, they had terrible arguments because he didn't want to go into Brookfield.
So she was mad at him when she murdered him.
Yeah, she was mad at him.
I'm just saying, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off that you murdered your own father. And you said he was the greatest guy ever. You said Mary Beth was actually mad at him, so she was angry and she had a temper. She was happy to murder him for different reasons. So it could be said that she did it with malice. Like she was mad and she's like, let's just kill him. I'm sick of his ass.
We use the word kill.
Let's euthanize him.
We use the word put him out of his misery.
But she was mad at him. You just admitted it.
En los Estados Unidos, durante los cuidados paliativos es legal administrar la dosis necesaria de narcóticos para aliviar el dolor, incluso si esto acelera la muerte. Esta es un área gris en la atención al final de la vida que es raramente examinado en este caso. Sin embargo, también es irrelevante. Linda no era médico. Su padre no estaba en una unidad de cuidados paliativos y los narcóticos no es sinónimo de asfixia con tela. Al día siguiente, Marshall se dirigió a la oficina de detectives del alguacil del condado de Pinellas con su grabación en la mano. Aunque estaba nervioso debido a sus propios antecedentes penales, la policía no podía usar la grabación no autorizada como prueba, por lo que le colocaron un cable y lo enviaron a volver a encontrarse con Linda esa misma tarde, mientras ellos escuchaban. Linda estaba feliz de compartir cada detalle y agregó algunos más, como que Beth se enfrentaba a la bancarrota. Necesitaba dinero con urgencia y la venta de esa casa en Palm Harbour dejaría caer $100,000 en cada una de sus cuentas. Con esta evidencia condenatoria en manos de las fuerzas del orden, Beth ahora fue llamada a la estación de policía, donde se sentó tranquilamente con el aire de alguien resignado. Hace mucho tiempo enfrentar la pena capital e inmediatamente confesó el asesinato. Beth había sido advertida por Marshall sobre la confesión grabada de Linda. Luego le diría a Linda que había tratado de usarlo para chantajearla y que tuviera relaciones con él. Mary Beth tenía una versión bastante diferente de lo que pasó esa noche.
This one night, I came home and my sister, who's in the medical field, she's a certified medical assistant.
Oh, she's an assistant?
A CMA. She said to me that she had been thinking about Dad and his situation with his lung cancer coming back, with what we were going to deal with, his dementia, him not understanding, and what it was going to be like for him. And he was, the way we felt he was suffering, the way we felt he was suffering. She said she thought that perhaps we could put him out of his suffering.
Okay. Was this a conversation you had in person or over the phone?
No, together.
You were together at his
We
house?
were laying in bed.
So then what did you say to that?
Well, at that moment, after everything, the way things were at this time, I had hesitations. However, I understand I don't have the right to take someone's life, if that's what you're asking me.
Okay.
I know right from wrong.
Okay.
However, I felt I couldn't see my father at 88 going through this surgery. I didn't think he was going to make it through this surgery, this dementia. I couldn't handle watching my father suffer this way 24/7, the way he was going. And unless you lived with him and saw him, and I was with him from Friday night through Sunday morning when I went to work, I was the one that was with him. I honestly felt that I couldn't watch my father suffer this way.
Okay.
So I agreed with her.
And what was the plan?
Her plan was, my father took sleeping pills at night. He took Xanax as well, and blood pressure, and cholesterol. I don't remember exactly what medications my father took. And she said that if we were to do this, when my dad had a drink that evening, on that Thursday evening, that we would put, she thought, I think 15 of his sleeping pills, and I don't remember if they were capsules, honestly, or if they were tablets, put it in his drink, and he would make a big drink.
What was that? What kind of alcohol would that be?
Vodka and Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I believe.
He would drink this every night?
He would drink 2 or 3 every night.
2 or 3 a night, okay.
And most nights he could hardly walk, and he was always falling in the bed. Falling, getting out, going into the bathroom. And she said we would put the sleeping pill in his drink when he asked for it about 9 or 10 o'clock. I can't remember about what time. No.
Pero el cálculo de Linda había sido erróneo y las pastillas no habían funcionado. Estaba luchando y dando tumbos. Lo que pasó después no fue planeado. Sin emoción, ella habla de cómo Anthony había luchado y luchado por respirar mientras lo asfixiaban. Aunque las investigaciones arrojaron que Mary Beth no se encontraba en bancarrota, y ambas arrojaban la culpa sobre la otra de instigar el asesinato, al final la policía concluyó arrestando a ambas mujeres. Ni Linda ni Mary Beth volverían a casa al día siguiente. Sus caras estarían salpicadas en las noticias locales con titulares nombrándolas como las hermanas que habían asesinado a su propio padre. Todo el que alguna vez los había conocido estaba aterrorizado, incluida la hija de Mary Beth, Lauren Johnson, que había estado allí la noche del asesinato y cuyo testimonio puso el caso patas arriba.
My uncle sat down, my mom sat down, and they agreed before they even called me to please come take care of Papa. We want you to move in. And the next morning, Ted came and picked me up from my house in Largo, brought my stuff, and I moved right in with Papa while we were cleaning out Shirley's stuff.
Okay.
But it was never an issue, but he was adamant about not going to an assisted living.
And what did your mom say and Linda say about that?
They argued with him about it, you need to go, you need to be watched 24/7, kind of like they felt like it would bother me, which my grandfather and I had both agreed that it was not a problem for me to stay and take care of him. He was happy at this point.
Right.
You know, he was happy playing cards with me and watching Price is Right all day and going to lunch. Like, he had a life. He did not want to be stuck in an assisted living facility with old people, as he called it, because I'll just die there. And that's what he said.
Okay.
He did not want to go there. But they were not happy with his decision. My aunt said, I believe it was the night before he passed, or, you know, one of the nights she came to visit, that he was not able to make his own decisions, and she felt like he was incompetent and things like that.
What was your opinion
I
about
disagreed with her.
Okay.
Big time. I disagreed. Sure.
You argued with her about that? Or?
Well, I didn't argue because that's their dad, but I put my 2 cents in and said, like, you know, he's 85. If the doctors don't think he needs to not have a license, that he can drive, they don't think he needs his power of attorney to take over his finances, he doesn't. I don't feel he was incompetent at all.
Okay.
Sure,
you were living with him most of the time.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to ask you.
I mean, except for the last 2 days of his life when he started calling me Mary Beth and my mom Rosalie,
Right.
I started to see a decline those last 2 days. But within the 10 days, you know, sure, he'd forget little things like, did I take my milk of magnesia or did I take my pills? And he would just look in the container, but
For the most part.
for the most part, he would have been all right to have me stay with him.
Okay.
When you went to the doctor, because you said that the day before, you went to his doctor's appointment.
His primary.
His primary. Are you in the room with them?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you recall what the doctor said at that time?
We went and saw the primary, and he listened to his lungs, and he said, you know, Tony, I just want you to have a chest x-ray. I think my grandfather said his anxiety was bad, or Linda had talked to him and told him his anxiety got a little bad because Shirley had passed away.
Which is normal.
Which is normal because you
How
outlived
long
two
were
of them.
they together?
About 20 years.
Oh, 20 years. Okay.
Oh yeah, because my son's 16, so I would say longer than, you know, right when he was born, so they were about together almost 20 years. So that was his partner, you know, and so she died, and so he's on edge and he's a little shaky.
Was he like terminal? Was he?
He had lung cancer years before, and he had part of his lung removed. But for years, he's been okay. Like, he had high cholesterol and blood pressure. But other than that, the cancer had not come back to my knowledge, because I was never aware of it until we went and had the chest x-ray. And they just told her that they saw like a spot on his lung or a mass on his lung, and so they wanted him to go see the pulmonologist.
So it wasn't like a huge, massive, like something very...
Not from what I know, no.
From what you know.
No.
Aunque Anthony llegó a padecer un cáncer grave en un momento de su vida, el fiscal Thomas Koskinos expuso que en el momento de su muerte tenía algunos problemas de salud normales para alguien de esa edad, pero de ninguna manera estaba enfermo hasta el punto de sufrir una afección terminal. Mary Beth Tomaselli y Linda Roberts fueron arrestadas el 5 de marzo de 2019. Después de llegar a un acuerdo de culpabilidad que evitó el juicio, Linda fue sentenciada en marzo de 2022 y Mary Beth el mes siguiente. Linda fue sentenciada a 20 años en prisión. Mary Beth, después de ofrecer testificar contra su hermana, fue sentenciada a 15 años. No hubo alertas. Nadie sospechó. Ambas hermanas afirmaron que quisieron sacarlo de su miseria, excepto que su única miseria fue tener 2 hijas que le pagaron toda una vida de cariño con la muerte.